Good morning, everyone. How did you like the news from Simon about the weather? Isn't it fantastic? After 4 days in San Sebastian with rain, we finally got some sun out there. So at lunch break, I hope the truth is still the truth and you see some sun outside. For the next 7 minutes, or 6 minutes, I'm going to talk about the reality of addressable TV and things that most of you probably don't know is that TV, although it's a very established medium, still only about 14 years ago introduced digital delivery, meaning tapes on bikes. How does the ad get to the broadcaster via tape? Is still the case today in many markets. One of those markets is Thailand, for example, where still today all the advertising that you see on television, that you see on most VOD, that you see on most digital channels are being put on USB sticks, on DVDs, and then being manually delivered to those stations. So to overcome that and to have a real addressable TV future, I'm going to share a couple of problems and issues that we see in the industry and that my company Honeycomb and IMD is trying to address and trying to introduce in several markets, like for example in the UK, where we work very closely together with Sky. So the challenges that we see today in the market which prevail and which are reality. So this is not fiction, this is what everyone who is in media planning and buying and creation and production is facing when they want to overcome the linear conundrum, the problem of, for example, material distribution, production challenges, reporting challenges, and finally optimization. So let me drill on those 4 subjects one by one in a second. Third-party clearance means that in many countries you have bodies that need to clear an ad. That means that it's not the advertiser who decides whether it's a cool ad, but you need to have clearance. So in the UK it's Clearcast, in France it's ARPP, and so on and so on. Without that clearance being properly automated and managed not in 24 hours but in 5 hours, it's very difficult to have a really automated workflow for distribution. The publisher approval, whether it's legal content, you have that in India, we call it a 2-party or 2 steps approval system. You have a legal approval and a content approval. So just about thinking of a programmatic campaign that sits somewhere on a DSP or an SSP and just goes on live, on air, doesn't happen. Every ad needs to be approved legally and content-wise in India. 2 steps. Doesn't happen programmatic, happens manual. It's a very complex technical workflow, so lots of screens need to be entered, need to be looked at, and what takes normally 48 to 50 hours of delivering a file to a broadcaster today is being run down or reduced to something like 4 hours. But it's very, very difficult to imagine that an ad is there in 5 seconds. Production challenges, whether it's an online video clip or a TV commercial, it is a very complex and time-consuming process. You have many times the brand approval, which is relevant for online Facebook and YouTube videos as well as for video on linear. But it's just something that is still manual. So there's lots of manual intervention. The reporting challenges, just imagine you're running a live TV campaign. In many markets still today, the Nielsen report comes out after 2 weeks. 2 weeks, the same ad has been running on air on the channel, and the advertiser has no idea where this ad has been really run. So we're introducing some automated fingerprinting for all ads so that 20 minutes, 50 minutes after the air date or the air time, the ad is actually fingerprinted and the reporting can be integrated into the dashboard. There is sometimes a discrepancy between what the log files from Landmark or other systems show you that has been aired and the ad that is actually being aired. So broadcasters sometimes don't really have the security that the same ad that was in the log file has actually been aired. So we're running fingerprinting on behalf of broadcasters and on behalf of brands in parallel to what the broadcaster thinks has been aired. The discrepancy is not big, but it's maybe one ad a day that is kind of wrongly reported. And finally, the optimization challenge, which is how do I measure the performance of that ad, which has been aired now, and how can I optimize that? So we're working with several companies, and Simon, you mentioned Finecast, with whom we are working on integrating into their workflow a system that, without touching the ad a second time or creating an order interface with them, all this information is being passed on from the media agency to the broadcaster. So we're working on right now on a system that allows all the information that is needed to create an order from the input side, whether it's a media agency or the creative agency, to the assembly on the production side, to the distribution, whether it's an addressable online social campaign, whatever the output is, including then the final step, the measurement, the analytics, and the adaptation of the plan. This is the nirvana for the people in the television industry. For the online industry, this is more or less day-to-day jobs. You do that, still manual intervention, but to have that workflow in the linear or addressable TV space, this is absolutely not seen on. And I'm happy to share a couple of screens with you guys today from another media agency group from Publicis who's innovating that scheme. They have created what I understand seems to be the first completely integrated workflow where you have on one side the media plan or the creative plan, then on the second side you have the production, which are the production agencies, and then you have the optimization, optimizing the content before it goes on air. So finding out where to tweak the content to be performing better. And then in the end, having the distribution, delivery to the different channels. Everything is seamlessly integrated into one platform. And so the brand or the agency can see it on that channel. So the product from Publicis is called Optimum. Unfortunately, Ian Liddicoat, yeah, go ahead, Simon. You've never seen that. Ian Liddicoat couldn't come today to present his pieces, so he just shared 2 screens with me, which I think are relevant for the audience today. So they've introduced a machine learning process, which is going far more than just machine learning. It analyzes the content, so whether it's a video or whether it's a still image, and it does the recommendation engine based on AI. And on the last screen, you see how they have created in with one platform. You see on the top of the screen 4 bubbles, the analytics, the assets, the optimization, and the distribution, where on one dashboard, whether you're a media planner or you're a creative agency, you can access the system, you can analyze the content, and it's not about what the creative director thinks is cool or less cool, it's what the machine learning tells the creative director where he needs to optimize. And this is live, this is working, and it's being used in several markets, in the UK as one, and it is a fascinating project. So that's all from my side. Simon, please.